when there are times when I'm like, I really wish I knew what you would tell me about this particular situation or this other thing.
Is that when you have a hard time?
Yeah.
On our first ever episode fully in English, Majo shares with us what her relationship with her mom was, as well as what it was like to lose her in her teenage years.
Hola, soy Mika y les quiero dar la bienvenida a Pockets in the Universe.
Yeah. There.
Alright. A very loud clap for my tiny hands. Okay.
Indeed.
Hey, Water.
Hey, fine.
So before we get into the juicy part of the episode,
Of course.
I just want to know, how are you feeling at this moment?
What you might ask. I was kind of tired earlier.
Like physically
Like
tired?
physically tired. Like, you know, like when you're outside all day and it's hot and you're like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah.
But then I just rejuvenated. So I am excited.
Okay.
I'm like excited, like in general these days. But I'm
That's a
excited.
very nice thing to be.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's like maybe like top feeling. Then I'm also, yeah, like I want to go to bed, but
That's a lot going on.
yeah,
That's good. Alright.
oh,
Yay! I'm excited too about this episode.
cool.
Because I remember that I was having a conversation with you before sort of thinking about doing pockets. And I came to you sort of seeking your wisdom, you know, because I was wondering what it's like for you to spend certain holidays and yeah, I guess like special events when it comes to your mom.
Well, I guess it depends on the event. The other day, like what, 3 weeks ago, at Paquito's graduation, like my brother's graduation, like I remember that, you know, like my mom kept journals, and in one of those journals, she wrote something like, have the kids go to the tech and graduate and like have their dream career or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that now we both made it, I think is pretty cool. And it's kind of sad that she's like not there to see that, because that's something that she really worked hard for.
Mm-hmm.
So like in that, like if I take a step from the situation and I think about it, and it's like, I wish she could see it. And I kind of like, even not being religious, I kind of think that like she's there in a kind of way, you know? Yeah. So, which is something that I hadn't thought about for a while until like recently, that I think I saw something like on TV, or I heard someone talk about like, I want to make my mom proud, or like they had the same sort of situation where their mom had passed. And they were like, I'm doing all this for you kind of thing. And I had never had that approach. Like really, like I did for a while. Then she died and I don't think I went back to it.
So you had it before she passed?
Yeah. Like, you know, when I was like a kid, she was amazing. And so every time I would do something, I was like, oh, look, I did this. You know, like I got an A in everything in school, or I won a contest or whatever. And it would be like sort of to impress her and, you know, like make her proud and all that stuff. And then I sort of didn't have that feeling going on anymore.
Passed.
Yeah. And just now I sort of regained it, you know? But more in like maybe I'm an adult now. And I can sort of appreciate how hard you have to work to like actually, you know, have things. And like
Adult.
Yeah, adulting is a bitch. So, I was thinking about that, like, you know, I want to do stuff, not exactly maybe to make her proud, but to, like, show my appreciation for the effort that she made while we were kids and that sort of thing. And so, yeah, like in situations like that, that's the feeling, I guess, of like wanting to be grateful and appreciative and that sort of thing. And then on other occasions, like, her birthday is something that I don't
Celebrate?
Yeah, like I do sort of celebrate it like in my mind.
Like you acknowledge it?
Yeah.
Sort of.
And then usually around her birthday, I go visit my grandma because she always takes it very hard. Like, it's always hard for her, so.
I mean, yeah, her kid.
Yeah, so I try to visit her around the time. And it's, like, a tricky thing, I think, sometimes also, because my mom's birthday is 2 days after my dad's birthday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of funny. I don't know. It's always, like, odd. And then Mother's Day is, like, meh. Like, it's not meh exactly, but we usually, there's this thing where, because of how my mom and dad ended up, like, their divorce and all that stuff, every Mother's Day is not, like, about my mom. It's more, like, about my grandma.
Yeah.
So, oh, yeah, let's take her to dinner or whatever.
Because you live with your dad and your grandma.
Yeah.
Is it also about your mom's mom?
Yeah. A little more. And I try to also, like, go see her. And, like, this year I tried to be more, like, do, like, a family sort of event. Which didn't happen, but I went to have dinner with her and my brother and my brother's girlfriend. And, like, I made lasagna for her and it was really great and she loved it. And so that sort of thing, like, we try to go together to visit her, or I try to make my brother go visit her with me.
Right.
So yeah, it's I don't know that it's gotten better, it's just gotten different. In not a bad way, it's just, like, I remember the first Mother's Day, which was so awkward.
Which was when?
2011. Yeah, 2011.
You were how old?
15. I was 15, yeah. Yeah. So I was 15 in 2011, and that was the first Mother's Day. And I had this, like, I was in school, and the teacher, like, the English teacher had us do, like, a number thingy for the Mother's Day celebration, whatever.
Like a musical number?
Yeah, like a musical number. So we had to sing Mamma Mia.
Right.
Yeah. Which I was, like, I don't think it's, like, a very Mother's Day sort of song, but
it says Mama in it. What are you talking about?
I know. And then I was, like, I don't know, it was weird. Like, a part of me was wanting to be not so dramatic about it and just do it. And but there was a moment when I was, like, I think I had to, like, take a break. And I just went out, and my teacher was then, I think she was informed or something about.
Not by you.
Yeah, not by me. And then she came to me and she was like, I'm sorry because I didn't know, and that like, somebody just told me that you just lost your mom, and so if you're not comfortable doing this, it's totally fine.
What made you want to take a break? Like, what was happening?
I don't really know. Like, I don't remember it. It's, like, part of the whole not remembering a lot of stuff thing.
I am realizing that's a thing.
It is a thing. Which I recently learned. Like, I was in therapy, and I mentioned this thing of, like, not remembering certain things about my mom. And my therapist was like, that happens a lot when your brain is trying to protect you. It's not just selective memory. It's, like, a step beyond that.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, really? And she said, yeah, like, sexual assault victims go through that sort of thing, or, like, people that were abused as kids, and they come to me and they're like, I don't remember my childhood. And then I know it's a red flag. And so, yeah.
I mean, I see that, and I guess it does make sense that your brain kind of wants to blur it out.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, I'm just finding out that it's kind of a thing, because right now I've tried to remember how it happened, and I don't quite know the sequence of events.
Yeah.
But it bothers me a little. Like, I want to remember. I want to, like, know exactly every little bit, because I feel like that's the last memories and the last moments I had with him. So it kind of bothers me.
Yeah, I kind of get the feeling. I understand the feeling, but I've come to sort of terms with it. Like, I get why we might want to remember those last moments, but I think they're not worth remembering so much. I think it's worth remembering more a lot of the cool stuff.
I see what you're saying.
So, it's like nice to appreciate the dark moments, but I don't think it's something that you have to linger on, sort of.
I'll take that into consideration, because it is still very fresh to me. Was there a moment where you felt, right? Because mine was in 2019, with my dad. So is there a moment where you feel, or that you felt that it was no longer fresh? If that makes sense.
I don't know. I don't think I can pinpoint it's
right. Maybe not like the moment, but I don't know. Like this year, I remember I still had it, and then at some point,
I think it was less of a thing. Maybe when I started college, cancer. So I think we should go back and explain the whole story, right? But so she had cancer. She had cancer around 2000 something, early 2000s. And she went into remission and everything was fine or whatever. And the yearly checkup thing in 2010, it came out that she had cancer again. And it was really bad. It was stage 4, insane, metastatic, awful. Basically no solution.
Was she feeling it?
I don't think she was. I think she was feeling quite well, actually. I don't think she had ever been a really sporty person. And she had started doing yoga and running races with her boyfriend.
That's so cute.
Yeah. And she had always smoked. And so she had tried to stop smoking for a while. So ironically, I think it was a good physical stage for her. So she got diagnosed on my birthday when I turned 15. And then I started high school. So when she died, I was halfway through the first semester of high school. And I had to start that semester over 2 more times because then I moved back home. And so when all these school again sort of thing had me in this place where I was the second high school I went to, I was in this group of the people that don't get to start school in their actual fall or something. And so it was, I think we were 5, 4 or 5, I don't remember well. And they all knew, somebody in school had said, there's this girl coming in and she just moved and whatever, and she lost her mom. And I didn't really enjoy that time. It was really weird, and I felt super alone. I didn't know anybody.
Do you feel maybe because people knew and you were new, they maybe didn't know how to approach you?
Maybe, yeah. But I think there comes a point where maybe if that's the first thing people know about you when it just happened, that's really weird. And they don't know how to approach you and they don't know how to talk to you, or they think you're perpetually sad and miserable,
Right, and they you're so fragile, they don't want to do the thing or say the thing that's gonna make you break.
And so I think I do I made friends, I had 2 or 3 friends that I went to dance class with, and we did homework together and that sort of thing, and they were pretty normal. And then when I went into high school the 3rd time, which was the tag and all that, I had a really hard time telling people. It would come up that, oh yeah, my parents do whatever, and I would be and I would just not say anything.
Okay.
Like, for a while, I didn't say anything. And I wouldn't bring it up, you know? I think if somebody asked, like, it's not like a kindergarten sort of thing where, like, what did your mom do and what did your dad do? But if it somehow, like, had to say something about your mom, like, I think we were in first semester or second semester and we had biology, and the teacher knew my mom.
Oh.
I don't know if you remember that, but the teacher knew my mom, and so she asked me about her.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, she just died, and she was like, I'm so sorry. And she was so nice, and I really loved working with her, or whatever. And so, like, several people knew beforehand. Like, they knew because she was known and, like, in the circle, sort of, you know? So, Chris, our director, she knew, right, obviously. Then a couple more people knew. Our Spanish teacher knew, too, because he was her teacher, too.
Right, yeah. I remember that.
So, yeah. But when it came to, like, our friends and, like, people that would say something, I would just, like, not say anything. Until that moment when we had to do a family tree sort of activity. And I was, oh my God, I don't want to do this.
Did I find out then, or did you tell me before?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I don't know. Because I was, like, bracing myself for the moment. Like, I made, it was a huge thing. It was like a foldable sort of, and I really liked it.
I really liked mine. Like, that was so cool.
Yeah. And I love looking at the photos and, you know, like, listening to stories and stuff. But I was dreading the actual presentation so much. I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go. I don't know what I'm gonna say. I think at some point I have to say that my mom died. And I was, like, feeling choked up a little bit.
So what was it that made you not want to sort of tell people? Was it more coming from a place of, I don't want to speak about it to not make it real? Or was it more of, like, I don't want people to know? Like, what was going on there?
Maybe it was a little bit of, I don't want people to know. And I think it was more like in the, I don't want to come apart sort of thing, you know? Because I was, like, I knew that the moment I said it to somebody, or especially to a group of 30 people, right, I would start crying. And
was it like that on your sleeve?
Yeah. Okay. Like, it was this huge thing that, honestly, I don't think people even cared about, you know? It was more like my own thing of, like, I don't want to have to say it. You know, I don't want to...
What about... I don't know, I'm trying to think of, like, other people that wasn't sort of, like, the classroom, but maybe not your immediate family because they would know. Or, like, did you talk to someone about it?
Well, the thing is, the friends that I had already, you know, like, from living in Mexico City, they all knew. So my best friends and everybody, like, knew at the time what was going on. And so I didn't have to tell anybody. I would just, like, I remember, like, my first high school friend, she knew because I told her, like, around the first few weeks of class or whatever. And my middle school friends, one of them, like, my best friend from middle school, her mom died when we were in, like, 7th grade. I don't remember why. So, like, with that precedent, I wasn't dreading it, you know, like, as much as coming into this group of new people that I don't know in this setting of, like, I think it was a weird combination of, like, I am home, like, I'm in my hometown, but I don't know anybody anymore. Like, slowly I started, like,
reaching back.
Yes, like, yeah, and, like, finding people that I knew before and making new friends too. So it started getting easier to sort of navigate the social life, I guess. But I think at the time it was a lot to move again to another city and to not know anybody. And then on top of that, like having to say, oh yeah, I moved here because my mom died. That was like so much. It was like TMI, you know? So, I think that was part of it. And also the thing of like, I would like start crying in front of everybody. And it was not so much as, it was not maybe shyness. It was more like weakness sort of thing. Like, I don't want to be weak and I don't want to be a crybaby. Kinda, I guess.
Okay, so like you're coming from... Was there something in particular that made you believe that you would be weak for crying about your mom? Or just like that was your process, I guess?
I guess that was, yeah, and because it was always like, because my parents divorced when I was 5 or 6, I think. So my mom always was like, you know, we are a team. And so everybody has to do their best. And so it's like me, my brother, and my mom. And like when we were kids, I was always like trying to annoy my brother. Yeah. But to like look out for him, you know? And so in that way, it was always like, you have to be strong and you have to be like, maybe not tough, but like hang in there, you know?
Okay.
That sort of thing. And so at the moment when I was like, I think, or at the time I thought like supposed to be strong, coming to even my friends, I guess, and telling them, oh yeah, my mom died, was like so much, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you have a moment where you opened up and like cried with someone that wasn't necessarily in the family sphere? Maybe even if they were family, like a cousin or something, but more into like the friend sphere of your relationships?
Well, I don't think at the time it qualified, but you know, my English teacher from the Mamma Mia thing,
right?
She became my dance teacher, and like she's still my dance teacher, but now she's also a friend. Mm-hmm. And so with her, I think she was the first person that I talked to and that I did cry while I was like talking. I mean, a little, you know? Mm-hmm. I was like not open the waterworks, of course, like fully.
Okay.
But yeah, I told her, and it was like a thing. And then I don't think I told anybody in the same sort of setting. Mm-hmm. In the same, yeah, no.
What was the thing that sort of made you open up to her?
Because she approached me, actually. It was not me.
Of course.
Because she came over and she was like, oh, I'm sorry that you have to do this. And if you don't want to do this for Mother's Day, it's totally fine. I get it. And then I was like, no, it's fine. I can do it. Like, it's not a problem. It's just right now. Mm-hmm. That I have to take a beat.
Okay. So has it become easier with time to talk about it?
Yeah. Like, I mean,
you don't sound very convinced.
The thing is, some parts are easier and some parts are still like, you know? Like, it's easier to stay, like, I don't have a problem saying, oh yeah, my mom died, you know, if somebody asks.
Right, plus you do this thing that I find so incredible, and I don't know if it's in a good way or in a bad way.
I think it's a good way.
I do think it's in a good way, but it just baffles me every time you do it. So I know you know what is the thing I'm talking about.
It's hilarious.
You can tell.
The chinga tu madre, no tengo.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. I remember I was at your house. And I don't remember. We were with a group of people. We were like a group of friends. It wasn't just me.
It was. I think that time was one of my Christmas dinners.
I think so.
And we had like a piñata. And my brother did something.
Yes.
And I don't know if he told me or I told him the chinga tu madre thing. And
I think he said it. the chinga tu madre.
And I said, I don't have one?
I think so.
That might have been. Yeah, that was hilarious.
I don't, like... I just find it so interesting.
Well, I think maybe it's a me thing that I am, like, dark humor. I like it. I do it. And I just... It's not a thing that I just do with my mom, I do it with, like, my grandma and, like, joking about her funeral. Oh, yeah, we're already planning it, that sort of thing.
Right.
And my brother is very sensible about that. The opposite side.
So he doesn't do the joke?
Yeah, no, he doesn't joke about grandma's funeral.
Okay.
I mean, he jokes about my mom.
He does.
He, like, a little bit, yeah. Maybe not to the extent that I do, but he does. But he does not joke like that about either of my living grandmas. Well, okay. I do it. So maybe I'm too much of a dark humor type of person.
I mean, if it helps you, I'm guessing it's somehow helping you.
Yeah, because it's like I'm in a sort of I'm not taking myself too seriously sort of thing. And it's fine. Like, it happened, and it's sad, yeah, of course, and it's made me somehow the person that I am today. But it's also not something that I can change, and I think it's fine. Like, if you make a thing about it, if you make a big deal out of it, and it's like, I don't want to talk about it. I think it's way worse, because then it's like avoiding the elephant in the room sort of thing. So I'm just like, yeah, whatever. But then there's this other part where, when there are times when I'm like, I really wish I knew what you would tell me about this particular situation or this other thing.
Is that when you have a hard time?
Yeah. And it depends on the stakes at any given situation, but it's like the first time I fell in love with a guy, like, for real, I was like, shit, I wish I knew what she would tell me. And I don't know, like, right now with the adulting, it's like, Jesus, how did you do it? Like, you had me at my age, I would not dream to have a kid right now at all. So that's like, Jesus,
I know it happened earlier to you than to me. Because there's this sort of voice in my head that kind of, puts in some words of like what my dad would say. Yeah. Even though for you it was like earlier, do you feel like you have something like that?
I think that the journals are the equivalent of that, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, because you mentioned she had journals.
I think I have maybe 4 or 5 of her journals. And for a while, I had her phone, like her old cell phone, which was a BlackBerry. That was ages ago.
When BlackBerries were a thing.
Yeah. So I can sort of go back and see what she wrote about a certain topic or about a certain thing that she felt or she was going through. And so that's sort of like a guide, or like maybe it was a guide when I was younger and now it's more like a reference sort of thing. You're like, okay, I'm not alone. She had this experience that sort of resembles my own, like, I think there's one where she was saying something about like the moving out sort of thing, like moving away from parents. Yeah. And adulting. But like, of course she had like an easier time because she started adulting when she got married, and she got married at 24. So that was like easier.
Yeah. But I mean,
faster.
plus I there is a difference, I believe, between that time and this time, plus doing it married as alone,
Yeah. So so there's like some reference points, and there's also times when I think there's a lot of stuff she taught me that is still there. Like, I don't know if I can pinpoint like things exactly, but maybe one is like the always doing your best thing.
Okay.
Because she was always a bitch about being lazy, you know?
I feel like parents are very into that.
Yeah, so when I did something, I had to do it properly.
Right. I mean, that's a good lesson.
Yeah. And then she would also, it was really funny that after she divorced from my dad and everything, I know that she went out, like she had an actual boyfriend with, I think, 4 guys. I think I remember 4 guys. And so I also sort of learned indirectly from her that thing of like detaching yourself from people and from concepts. And like one of my cousins is very much into the idea of like, oh, you're one true love and the guy that you will marry and stay with for 80 years sort of thing. And with her, I felt like, you can meet different people and each person will give you something different. And then along those sort of lines, there's this thing that she copied. She didn't write it, but she had it on her Facebook, I think, or something. Which that actually, that helped me a lot around the time that she died, because it was a note or something, a text that was like, for a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
Oh, I remember that. That is like such a thing of yours. Yeah,
and so it says that people come into your life for either a reason, a season, or a lifetime, right? And so if it's a reason, they come and they teach you something and then they go away. And then if it's for a season, well, they will be for a while, they'll be there with you, but then they might have to go away, And they also will teach you something, but it was just for like a shorter period of time. And then there's the lifetime people that, will always be there. So, yeah.
Did she distract you?
No, she didn't. It was more like it allowed me to take a break.
Okay, that's good. So within this line of the lessons or things that you've taken with you from her, what are other, not only just like lessons of like how to live life, but maybe quirky stuff, you know what I mean? Like little things you get from her that you want to keep.
I hate you so much.
I would know what it's like what your experience is.
Well, I get this thing a lot that people that know me, like, how parents have friends and then they're like, oh, I knew you when you were a kid. You're so old now, that sort of thing. When I find people like that, they're like, oh my God, you look so much like your mom.
That's cute.
And so I'm like, thank you. And she has had, that's a weird thing that I never know how to say, 2 brothers. Like she was the little kid, so the eldest, the middle, and her. And the middle uncle, always, every time I see him, probably, it's like, your eyes are so much like your mom's.
That seems so sweet.
And yeah, there's like definitely a sweet component to it, but there's also like a nostalgic sort of component that I'm like, yeah.
What's the thought there?
I don't think there's a thought, it's more like an emotion that, like a nameless, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Emotion, probably.
That's interesting.
I
would have thought
categorize it.
That it would be something like, I wish I could see them and see me in them or something along those
not
lines.
So much. Jesus.
Okay. But it's just like a feeling of nostalgia.
Yeah. And this thing, it was kind of interesting that she had, when she was in college, she had 2 friends, like her college friends, big college friends, whose kids are my friends too, or like my cousins and friends.
Right.
And so when I'm with my godmother or with my other friends' parents, they're always like, oh yeah, your mom used to do this, and like they have photos and memories and stuff. So that's always like, it's really cool, but sometimes it's also like, I get emotional at the same time, so I don't like getting emotional. Like,
You don't?
no, like this, I don't like it.
What is it about it?
I don't know,
you
because
don't
it's a
like?
vulnerability thing.
I can get that.
Yeah.
Plus, it sounds coherent with the whole, like, you know, like being strong and being
Yeah.
everything. That I guess it's something you've really learned.
Not waterproof. Yeah, so I was talking with my godmother the other day, and she started tearing up, and she was like, "You're so much like your mom." Not in like a physical way sort of thing, but in like a
Personality,
spirit kind of thing. And I think she actually said that. She was like, "You have like the same spirit." And I was like, "Oh man."
That is really cute, because I feel like those are the moments when so in my process, it has been very sort of like in my mind space and in my spiritual space, my journey, and only more recently I've tried to like honor my body and my feelings going through the same process. But, you know, one of those sort of like spiritual things that I tell myself when it comes to my dad is that he's a part of me and I am a part of him. Like, we share something, you know, because I've always been, when it comes to like, oh, you're like your mom or you're like your dad, I've always been more of a, you're very like your dad in a personality kind of way. So I feel like what I have in my mind of thinking that, I feel like you're having the experience because people are telling you. You know what I mean?
I think I know what you mean. And it's, I don't know, like, it is kind of cool. Cool and emotional.
So what are other lessons that you sort of, so I guess in the same way as the lesson season lifetime, what are other, I don't know, things that you have adopted and that are part of who you are and the decisions you make and the behavior you have, kind of stuff?
She was my fashion muse, you know?
That's really
and that was really fun. Like, we would go shopping and I would choose her clothes, and she really liked like the stuff that I chose. And so it was always a lot of fun doing that. And I think there's a lot of she was really funny. Like, she had this group of friends there were, I think it was 5, but they were like, you know, Sex and the City sort of thing. And she was Carrie. And I think it was around the time she was in the hospital that it would not, like, she would not go out of the room or whatever if she was not like nicely dressed or presentable. And she would always say that, like, what's the thing? Something like antes muerta que sencilla, but it was not quite that.
Okay.
And she would always, and that's something that my grandma says a lot, that she was like always singing. And every time she would come home, like, for lunch, because she couldn't do it all the time, you know, so when she had time to come and have lunch with us and then she would leave, she would like leave singing. And yeah, so I think that I have a lot of those things that I like, my sense of fashion, I guess, or like, and the singing, because I love singing and we used to sing together, even though she always would be like, "You're a terrible singer," but
that's hilarious.
Yeah. I was like, I wanted to be like Hillary Duff when I grew up. It's just like, you need to learn how to sing first.
I like her sense of humor.
Yeah. And yeah, she would bully us, like, you know, but lovingly.
In a very carrilla sort of way.
Yeah. So it was fun, but she was tough. Like she was a bitch, boss bitch,
in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way. Yeah, she was very demanding. You know, like the way I said before, like do your best thing, and like I think maybe for her it was like I'm doing my best, and that you're not doing your best is not working for the team, sort of thing. You know,
I like the team.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because she made a thing of it a little when we were kids, and I remember she sat us down and explained to us that she was sick and that her and my dad were divorcing, like it was all happening at the same time. So she was like, so it's gonna be, you know, the three of us now. And so yeah, that was like the thing, that it was, you know, the three of us, and the three of us have to like make the best that we can. And
I know you, and I know you guys, like the family.
Yeah.
So this whole thing of the team, like it sounds like I love it so much, and I'm just wondering, like, what happened? Is that sort of still a bit of a thing with your brother? Is there some sort of reminiscent of?
Well, I think
that idea.
I think my brother and I are very, I don't know, it's weird. Like, we are friends, sort of, you know? There's also a lot of stuff that we don't think about in the same way. So if we have a fight, you know, it's like a massive sort of thing. And that sort of team thing that we had then doesn't apply anymore because of how different this family, like this side of the family is from my mom's. Like my dad's side is much colder and like taciturn and you know, and my mom's side, it's all like warm and fuzzy and yeah. So there's a big contrast there, I think, and it's sort of reflected in how, like, my brother and I do a lot of there's, you know, maybe a time of the day or maybe rather night when like we have dinner together at 12 in the morning, or and we watch, I don't know, Rick and Morty or that kind of thing, which is really fun. And it's like a bubble that just the two of us have. But then like within the family, it's more like he has his side and I have my side, and it's really weird. Like there's no sense of togetherness, sort of. Yeah.
What is that like for you?
Well, I'm okay with it. Like I understand it.
Like a certain respect for what your brother.
Yeah, his weird sense of privacy. And he doesn't talk much about important stuff, you know? Like we don't have those like transcendental conversations or
your own pocket in the universe.
Yeah, we don't have pockets. And I don't think he ever told me anything about my mom dying, or, you know, like I think we went to therapy together one time because he would go to therapy when he was younger. I was gonna say a kid, but yeah. So yeah, it was like never a thing, and I did write him a letter at some point. Like he was going away for camp, and the teachers or whatever were like, "Oh yeah, and write a letter to your child that is going." And my dad told me, like, you can write a letter to your brother if you want. And so I did, and I'm sure I said something about my mom. I just don't know exactly what. anymore. And, yeah.
Do you ever feel like you take a sort of mom role with your brother?
I used to. But now, like, especially when we were in, like, middle school and, you know, and he would always get picked on and he was lazy as fuck. And he's so smart, you know, like, just now he graduated, like, with honors. And when he was in first grade, he would get 0 in every single thing in his notebook. So there's quite a stark contrast there. And yeah, so I always took the sort of approach of like looking out for him and stuff. And lately,
but in a sisterly way, or do you feel like at some point?
I mean, I thought it was like in a sisterly way. There have been moments when he's like, "Stop nagging me! Like you're not, you have no authority over me." He I don't think he ever says
like you're not
like your mom. Yeah, but
same feeling.
Same feeling. Yeah.
Same vibe.
Yeah, but maybe I do nag him, but he's so annoying.
I guess that's like a brother's thing.
Yeah.
You know. Okay. I guess it is. So, you know, I think to sort of start wrapping it up, I guess how do you feel different now? Like, what is your life now when it comes to, like, you know, not having your mom or having your mom in a different way? Like, what is that like now?
Well, I don't have anything to compare it to, maybe, directly. Or maybe I do. I don't know. I mean, the closest thing probably would be the closest thing would probably be my grandma, like the one I live with.
Mm-hmm.
But it bugs me so much when either she calls herself like our mother figure or my dad refers to her in that way.
Because you don't feel
like,
that?
My dad doesn't do it so much. It's more like she is like, you know, I have to be your parent sort of thing. And I'm like, you're not my parent. Like,
and you don't have to be my parent.
Stop parenting me. You know?
Like, your dad is enough of a parent.
Yeah. Oh, he is. And it bugs me. You know, it bugs me in a way of like, I don't think she does it on purpose, and I don't think that's her intention. But it's sort of like trying to take her place. And I'm like, oh, bitch. No, you cannot. No. Yeah. So that would be like the thing, maybe, mostly. And when it comes to like maybe trying to retrieve pieces of like her, you know, I have found like different people to sort of get the closest resembling thing. So like with my aunt, well, godmother / aunt, Ali, I would like, I go and I talk to her like about life and stuff, and you know, and she can like, she's really nice, and she can like, we can talk, and she'll give me advice, and she can also scold me.
All right.
Yeah. And then like my grandma, my other grandma,
your mom's mom?
Yeah, my mom's mom. She's very much like, you can go and get a hug and get like
the warm, sort of sensation.
Yeah. And then I don't know, I guess there's like friends and maybe my cousin who are like sort of have stuff, like, because it's like my cousin, and so it's her namesake, and it's older. She's older than me, and she has, I think, stuff that she admired from my mom, and so she has sort of tried to adopt it or like make it a thing for her. I don't know exactly what, but
and you sort of like see it reflected.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, like try to find little pieces here and there.
That sounds really nice. it's something that I feel like I haven't gotten to, but I like the idea of it. And just to finish, what is something that you would tell either yourself when it happened or someone that's going through it?
Someone that's going through it would be like, maybe forgive the people that say stupid shit. Like, I mean, not maybe stupid, but, you know, there's a lot of people that don't know what to tell you.
Right.
When you're like, oh yeah, my mom just died, or I just lost my mom, or however you want to euphemize it. It's like, you know, people will say stupid shit because they don't know what to say. And it's fine. Don't be mean about it. Don't be snarky about it.
That's very empathetic.
And also maybe like it's okay to unravel yourself. I don't want to say unravel, but you know, like it's okay to let it be. Yeah, and like in my particular case, I would have told my 15-year-old self to be chill about it as much as possible. As in like
not take it too hard.
Yeah. And more like, you know, it's okay to let people in, and it's okay to let them know, and you're not gonna die because you cry in front of 30 people. It's gonna be fun.
To not guard yourself as much. Like find the right people to open up with.
Yeah.
You know, that's very important because I think it's something that it's easily your first reaction to shield yourself.
Yeah. And there's like, you know, when the moment that I sort of, maybe the pinpoint moment where you're like, I don't know exactly how you asked me earlier, but it was like when it was a thing and then it wasn't a thing anymore, sort of thing. That when one of my best friend from college is my mom's college friend's son. Right. That sounds complicated, but anyway, so her college friend, his son is my college best friend.
Yes.
So when we started getting together more, and we would like share moments where, you know, we would be with his dad, and his dad would say something like, oh yeah, you know, when we were at school, and your mom, you know, whatever. And that was pretty cool. And then during the last like period in college, I would think a lot about my mom, and I spent a lot more time with him. And so it was more like a thing of sort of feeling closer to her, even though I wasn't.
Like a bit therapeutic.
Yeah. Yeah. So
it's really sweet. Well, I just want to really thank you because it has been mentioned that you don't like getting emotional or cry about it, but I really, really appreciate it. And I hope it somehow, it certainly helps me.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it helps somebody else, but I also hope that in some way it like soothes you or helps you, or some kind of relief comes out of it.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's part of the process.
Well, I just want to say thank you for being a part of this.
I like it. I'm a fan.
That's all I need. Alright.
Wait, stay right there. I gotta do another back. Entonces esta es la toma 5. Do you clap? No, es para el lado.